Good evening. This is Maestro Cortello with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Today we have a 3v3 on Garvus Ice Gate. Yeah, I think that's what this is called. Our first player today is Sir Topi, playing as the Force Commander. Tanky melee hero, starts off with a bolt pistol and chainsword. You can switch out that chainsword for a thunderhammer, a power fist, a power sword, or you can even just switch out the bolt pistol for a storm shield. Tanky melee hero, he can tie things up and also disrupt with battle cry. Next up, we got Regant, or Regant, or something, playing as this school bus yellow Chaos Lord. The Chaos Lord is yet another tanky melee hero. He walks around in Terminator armor, starting out with a demon sword and a combi bolter for both a little bit of ranged fire and a little bit of melee damage. And then depending on what weapon upgrade you can get, you can either upgrade his range fire or his melee damage. Their teammate, their last teammate, is Talrion, playing as the Warp Spider Exarch. The Warp Spider Exarch is a teleporting ranged hero. Although he is a ranged hero, he's also a melee hero, actually. He can do both. You can get upgrades that kind of emphasize either one, but he's pretty good at both, pretty much. And he can also be extremely annoying just by teleporting around, harassing, killing, while not dying, probably, and decapping and stuff. On the other team, I can't find the Techmarine on the other team, I think. Can I? Yeah, I still can't find the Techmarine, because the Techmarine must be in some kind of building. Let's see if we can do a quick find on him, at least find... Yeah, so the Techmarine is in this building right here. This is Razbeg, playing as the Techmarine, hiding in the house. The Techmarine is a ranged Space Marine hero. He has a gun for every occasion. He can also repair and support vehicles. Can't get a good look at him when he's in that building. Next up, we got Dr. I Cure You with my Kukri, playing as yet another Chaos Lord. This one without all of the extra bling that Regant has on his Chaos Lord, and we can even look at them right here, right now, for comparison. Alright, and then finally, we got AcolyteofCROM, playing as the Plague Champion, a Chaos Marine dedicated to the god of Nurgle, right now just standing around getting healed by his own Nurgle worship, which heals. He starts out with a bolter, he can get some melee weapons later on, he can also repair, heal, and build turrets. Alright, a little bit of a slow start there as I was trying to find that Techmarine, but it looks like maybe that Techmarine being in the building was a good thing. Certainly looks like, well, I was going to say certainly looks like the red team took the lead in that early engagement. Unfortunately, some Howling Banshees were allowed to get in range of these tactical Marines. They take out one model. I was surprised. If they had kept it up, they might have taken out another one, but forcing off the Chaos Space Marines by approaching them probably was the correct play. And they'll probably take a model off the Chaos Space Marines as well, or not, because we got some shotgun scouts, and they actually back up before they go in too deep. We might even have a kill of the week right here. Does not take any models, it just restores the Chaos Lord's health a little bit. Chaos Space Marines out here, but they're low on health, so they're not going to be able to take on this Chaos Lord, especially not since he's getting into melee range. But luckily there was a Havoc set up behind that would have made the approach much more risky for the Chaos Lord, who was already upgraded to the Harness of Rage. But before we talk about that, let's make sure we take a look over here. Oh no, it looks like that must have been AcolyteofCROM losing a Heretic squad. Unfortunately, they were clearly overextended. You need to be extremely careful about how you use Heretics that do not have an aspiring champion, because they are such an easy squad to lose. Meanwhile, AcolyteofCROM is losing all of his Heretics, but he's got some Raptors jumping in. I have a feeling Sir Topi is going to get most of his units suppressed by that, and yes, he does get quite a few of them disrupted. Looks like 2 squads, actually. Sir Topi actually with a total of 4 squads, and he actually chose to get both 2 TACs and 2 scouts. Not very common, but you can put all those squads out on the field without spending any power whatsoever, and it looks like Sir Topi has not yet spent any power except for this Devastator squad that he's working on. Meanwhile, it looks like that Warp Spider Exarch actually did go down, even though I said that he hardly ever would. The Warp Spider Exarch is generally one of the harder commanders to kill, because he can usually just teleport out of situations where he's in a really bad situation. So you just teleport him out, you shouldn't lose him. Usually you're using him as a ranged unit, so you're teleporting him usually behind cover. Teleporting melee units tends to be a bit more risky, since you're pretty much almost intrinsically overextending them more, or you're definitely extending them more, not necessarily overextending, but the potential for overextension is definitely greater. The blue team, and now the red team rather, taking a bit of an advantage on both sides of the map. I have a feeling, meanwhile, AcolyteofCROM over here, he's not going to get his turret up, and he's going to have to back up, but the red team over here has all of their ranged units. We have so many ranged units over here, so they're definitely going to get probably a full generator bash. Yeah, there's not enough to stop them. Regant coming out with a Heretic Squad and a Chaos Lord. That's unfortunately not enough for him. I think Razbeg should be able to finish off. He certainly finished off all of the generators, and he should be able to get the node as well, but he might want to also start... Wow. I mean, all of this stuff just started focus firing that Chaos Lord, and he did not get to do anything. Regant is probably going to want to wait until he can get his teammate back out here, which is Talrion. Unfortunately, I feel Talrion is not very well equipped to deal with the things that are up here with the build that he has. Let's see. Talrion, he's got double Banshees, which, as scary as that can be, there's so much range fire and so much potential anti-melee from the red team on top that those double Banshees could be more of a liability than anything else to Talrion. So I guess part of what they're doing is they're choosing just not to fight over there. Talrion moving through the middle. Meanwhile, we've got Sir Topi exerting some pressure on the south side. The south power farm, the natural for the red team. Raptors not even bothering to jump in yet, conserving their energy, but they are taking a lot of damage on approach. Yeah, I think, you know, maybe that was okay at first. Oh my god, we had a group teleport from Talrion. What a play right here. That's going to be a squad of Chaos Space Marines down for AcolyteofCROM. He might even lose this Heretic right here if he turns around. Yeah, don't bother about the Plague Champion. He gets a Heretic Squad. Oh my god, look at how bad this is for AcolyteofCROM. He's going to get the Raptors out of there alive, but oh my god, Talrion goes for it. Unfortunately, not great timing on that grenade, but still, that was such a huge play for the blue team. I guess, you know what? He made a really good play right there. Choosing not to engage up top. Meanwhile, looks like Regant is going to lose a Heretic Squad, so unfortunately for the blue team, Regant did lose a bunch of stuff, but this is nothing but a winning situation for Talrion, who has suddenly become the star of this game. You know, up until that point, I was thinking, like, I don't know what he's got. He's not going to be able to do very well up top, so he decided just not to go up top. So a lot of crazy stuff just happened, and now, wow, they're going to move back up top. Now that they've drawn the red team away from the top, and the only thing that's here is a single Devastator squad. And this Devastator, to be honest, could be in a lot of trouble because we've got a huge amount of blue team approaching that Devastator, and I think even with this Devastator resetting up in the correct direction, that's not going to be good because the scouts could quickly take a sniper shot. That should kill the lead model, or just kill a model or so, and then that Devastator might have to retreat through a bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, I think this particular engagement is not going well for Talrion, and there we saw some bionics, what is it called? Powerful sweep, and suddenly these Banshees are in a little bit of trouble. Now, this is going to cost a fortune for Talrion to reinforce, but, I mean, it's going to cost him reinforcements. It's costing AcolyteofCROM a huge amount to replace entire squads. All right, and where did Razbeg's Devastator go? So yeah, it got out of there actually. Probably got sniped a bit, and now we've got some attacks going for generators. I think this Flamer attack should continue going for the generators while the other one actually starts shooting, because this single attack would win against this attack with the less health from the red team, and I think this other attack needs to go for the Techmarine, get him off the field. I mean, a single Flamer attack can bash just fine, especially if he decides to maybe attack ground, get multiple generators at once, but he might just have it shift-clicked, where he's selected all of the generators with shift-click, which can be a good idea too. Meanwhile, AcolyteofCROM, how is he recovering? Actually, it's not AcolyteofCROM, well, we've got Dr. I Cure You with my Kukri. He's got a Chaos Lord set up with the Harness of Rage, the Lightning Claws, as well as the Icon of Khorne. Now, this is a curious setup that he chose to get the Harness of Rage and the Icon of Khorne. Normally, when people get the Harness of Rage, they get the Energy Shield, the Demon Halo for the Chaos Lord. Synergize is better, and usually if they get the Icon of Khorne, then they're going to get a different armor war gear than the Harness of Rage, because they don't have to use energy for the Demon Halo, so then they can use it for Let the Galaxy Burn or Life Drain. Force Commander in here from Sir Topi. He has got the Power Sword, giving him 50 DPS power melee. Unfortunately, he's going to go down here. He's clearly overextended. Sir Topi obviously just forgot about him. Meanwhile, we've got some Bloodletters out for AcolyteofCROM, so he's got double jump units maybe to help himself deal with these Scout Marines with sniper rifles, and that one Scout squad was in quite a bit of trouble. I think if that lead model wasn't as far ahead, they would have been a lot of trouble right there. But this is definitely a lot of potential squad wiping ability for AcolyteofCROM, because he's got Raptors and Bloodletters. That's a lot of damage. About 200 DPS power melee for the Bloodletters, and they're going to be particularly threatening to the tactical Marines. But these double Banshees actually doing a lot of work. Go for the grenade launcher Heretics right now. Alright, wow, and he gets 3 models off of the Doctor's Chaos Space Marine squad. Meanwhile, we're going to have... That was a destructive strike from the Lightning Claws of the Chaos Lord. That is a disruption ability. Oh my god, man, that Lightning Claw Chaos Lord doing a lot of work. But definitely some very, very potent anti-melee coming out of the Doctor's Chaos Lord. When you get those Lightning Claws and you have Destructive Strike. Destructive Strike is an ability from the Chaos Lord, a melee ability. It functions kind of like Kill the Weak, in that it does just kind of... It does disruption, but I'd say the best thing about that ability is it actually does quite a bit of damage. So it can be very, very good against squishier melee squads, especially something like Hormagaunts or Heretics, but it still works well enough against Banshees. Meanwhile, Talrion, he's still got his double Banshee build, which he's definitely reinforcing a lot, but has a ton of resources because he's not really buying anything. Raptors, wow, I'm actually surprised to see that. I was going to say Raptors should not jump into Heretics. I think a Doom Blast from those Heretics right on reaction would have actually been really dangerous to those Raptors. Meanwhile, this is Regant's Chaos Dreadnought, suddenly in a lot of trouble, and to be honest, I don't think going to get out of there alive against... This is Razbeg's Multi-Melted Dreadnought. The Multi-Melted Dreadnought, I mean, even if they just fight straight, like head-to-head, the Multi-Melted Dreadnought is just straight up going to win. Looks like it's either not targeting the Chaos Dreadnought, or it's actually managed to get out of range. Now it has targeted. Can it do anything about that? Oh, just barely manages to get the shot off before the Bloodletters tie up the Dreadnought. You can actually tie up a Dreadnought. Well, we've got some chasing now from these double Howling Banshees. We've got double Strength Banshees, so they're going to have slightly more anti-vehicle capabilities than they would if either one of them or both of them were Aspect of Fleetness, because they will get that Executioner Spear for the Exarch, and she will be doing heavy melee damage instead of power melee damage. So the difference is about 15 DPS, 15 more DPS, I believe, against vehicles, which doesn't sound like a lot, but then if you combine 2 of them, you've got about an extra 30 DPS. All right, we've got a Havoc out for the Doctor. He doesn't actually need it at this point. Well, maybe. We've got a Falcon out from Talrion. He decides of all things to get a Falcon. We've got some Power Blades on the Warp Spider Exarch, so he really wants to be able to take on vehicles with everything he has, and just about everything he has actually can do anti-vehicle. Unfortunately, his Falcon is in a ton of trouble. Probably going to take a multi-melter shot. That is a dead Falcon, most likely, except for the fact that this Dreadnought... Ooh, I was going to say, maybe it's getting tied up, but not quite. Bloodletters teleporting in. They're teleporting in on these Chaos Space Marines. We've got double Chaos Space Marines with both Eternal War and the Aspiring Champion upgrade. They could probably use a Mark, considering we've got two power armor races against the Doctor. But I think that's going to probably be the end of this this Dreadnought. It's mostly being taken down by power melee stuff. However, I believe it also has the Blessing of the Omnissiah on it, making it much harder to kill, but there's still just way too much stuff. It was completely unsupported. Bloodletter's going to teleport behind. That is probably a dead Devastator. Just got jumped by double Bloodletters. This is Regant with the double Bloodletters. Pretty dangerous stuff, because that's going to be a total of, well, if they had all of their models, that would be 400 DPS power melee, which is absolutely ridiculous. The Doctor probably going to lose his Chaos Lord right here. Yep, not a whole lot he could do about that. Alright, so between all of the action that we've just had, I haven't even been paying much attention to what the VP count has looked like, but we've got 287 for the blue team, and they're about to get the double cap with 454 for the red team. So red team taking the lead in real VPs, but the blue team about to get that double cap. Heretics approaching, yeah, should Doom Blast. Just Doom Blast, and I think now he's clearly overstaying his welcome. Doom Blast and then get out of there. You often want to Doom Blast with Heretics, especially generally right before retreating. You generally want to Doom Blast with Heretics, because that covers your own retreat. It also covers the retreat of any of your own other units or friendly units, because you're suppressing your opponent's squads, which is going to pin them in place as well as prevent them from getting much range damage output. So that's it's just a huge thing about playing Chaos, knowing to use Heretics as a defensively. Doom blasting to cover retreat paths, to cover their own retreat paths as well as the retreat paths of your own unit. If you have a unit in trouble, send heretics in, Doom blast, and then get them out of there. And now often you're doing that even against units that heretics will lose against, that they will lose against in a melee fight, and you're doing it in situations where heretics might be under strength, like in that situation. So you want to retreat them. If you're going to do that, you want to retreat them immediately after you do that Doom blast. Alright, Howling Banshees right here. I bet these Howling Banshees, let's see, only level 1, surprisingly. I thought they'd be quite a bit higher than that, considering they were involved in the deaths of 2 squads for AcolyteofCROM. They're taking out a bunch of generators out here. They're now at level 2. Actually, one's at level 2, the other's at level 1. I have a feeling we'll see at least one of them at level 4 by the end of the game. Regant loses a heretic squad, unfortunately just not paying attention and does not micro well. And we have these Bloodletters in a terrible situation. The Doctor very smartly, I was going to say, it looks like he was trying for force melee, although it didn't look like it actually happened. Alright, down here, we've got AcolyteofCROM, recovered a bit. Yeah, recovered fairly well, getting to tier 3, and he's got 4 squads. Not bad considering how badly he suffered early on, and he's getting almost a full generator bash. I don't think he'll be able to finish off this generator. He might actually. I could be totally wrong, and he's actually going to finish that generator, and I think it would be smart for him to just straight up retreat out of here. Yeah, don't leave those in too long. Don't leave those guys in too long, because they're just going to take all that range fire from these tactical marines. Both of Sir Topi's tactical marines have their sergeants. They're also leveled a bit. What do we have going on here? Not a whole lot, but we do have a Chaos Lord from the Doctor approaching. He's going to get knocked down, though, by the Plasma Cannon Devastator from Sir Topi. Sir Topi's Plasma Cannon Devastator all the way up here. Meanwhile, Sir Topi on both sides of the map, which is often tricky to do in a 3v3. It's something that's difficult to pull off because you could very easily end up losing squads if you're not paying attention. And he, let's see. I was going to say he appeared to be idling a little bit here, but he got back on his micro, got a full generator bash. We've got double attacks right here with both a missile launcher and a flamer. They're going to take down generators very, very quickly, especially now that they have multiple levels. So he can just walk over here, probably get a full generator bash. I think he should even do that instead of capturing these points. I think he should capture with his force commander and his librarian, and then just send these attacks over here, destroy all those generators, get the red. Sir Topi, meanwhile, does have over 500 red, so he could do an orbital bombardment. He'll probably have time in this game to do both an orbital bombardment and a Terminator call-in if he wants to. Oh my god! The heretics, level 2 heretics, man, if those were level 1 heretics, they would have been dead, because they had level 1 heretics only have 600 health. They lost 670 health from that single plasma cannon shot. So plasma cannon can definitely be very, very dangerous to heretics or any high model low HP squad. We've got a Terminator call-in. Interesting positioning on the Terminator call-in, kind of forward, helping to win the engagement. But the problem is that we've got double Bloodletters right now, and these Terminators just used their teleport, so that was actually not a smart play by Razbeg, and he is absolutely paying for it. Regant very smartly uses the Bloodless Global. We'll probably at least see one of those Terminators go down. One of them does go down. The others, I mean, now Regant is starting to... Oh my god, he's going to take out the Terminators! So very, very well played by Regant, and to be honest, very poorly played by Razbeg, teleporting those Terminators up ahead. Oh my god, Razbeg just ate it so hard. And even though the red team is winning in this lane right now, that was... Just in terms of what was lost, that was a huge win for Regant and a huge loss for Razbeg. Terminators killed pretty much as soon as they were called down. Razbeg, unfortunately, unwisely teleported forward when there were Bloodletters there, and then Regant very, very smartly used the Bloodless Global. Highly underrated global, extremely powerful, especially if you go for a melee build. We've got AcolyteofCROM. AcolyteofCROM has recovered pretty well, sending his Noise Marines over here to bash a little bit more, but unfortunately they get scared off by some fully upgraded scouts from Sir Topi. Fully upgraded because they have, well, actually one of them does not have a sergeant, but they both have a weapon upgrade. They've got sniper rifles. They also have infiltration. Unfortunately, AcolyteofCROM now walking into this. I imagine he's leaving these Noise Marines in here because he wants to get the generator bash, which I understand, but he needs to be very careful with these double infiltrated sniper rifle scouts. AcolyteofCROM now in a huge amount of trouble. He is going to lose the Chaos Predator. This is a Mark of Khorne Predator. Yeah, he does not stand a chance at this point. Just the Warp Spiders teleported in, they got that Haywire, and then we have the double strength Banshees. I mean, even the Warp Spiders could join in, do some force melee, and that actually would help out because they do have the squad Exarch does do power melee, so that would be a little bit of extra damage. And you know what? Even all the regular melee damage help out a bit. Unfortunately, the Warp Spider Exarch hero got absolutely mauled right there by a huge amount of range fire. We now have some Terminators out for the Doctor. The Doctor doing very well on squad preservation, has a lot of things. This is very scary for the Doctor. Oh no, we're going to see, I was going to say, we might see another squad of Chaos Terminators die, and you know what? We might still see it. Because these Terminators, they're not exactly out of there scot-free. If anything, I feel like Regant should have pursued the Terminators instead of just trying to take on this Chaos Lord, because the Chaos Lord is actually tanking and doing damage to these Bloodletters, although they haven't managed to get a model off. They need to go for the Terminators now, and if we had another Bloodlust Global, and he is going to do it. Now, I think it just might be close enough to base that I don't think he'll lose the Terminators, but it's still a very close call. If anything, Regant now going to lose his Bloodletters. But we're seeing a lot of the power of that global. It is a very, very good global, and not enough people who play the Chaos Lord actually use it, or even know about it for all I know. We've got double infiltrated scouts right here. I think their choice target would probably be one of these Plasma Cannon Devastators. We've got a bunch from Razbeg. Two is now a bunch. They did just shoot this Plasma Cannon Devastator, but they did not manage to get any models off, and they're probably doing even a little bit more damage now. Unfortunately, this Plasma Cannon Devastator should probably get out of there, or it's going to be in a lot of trouble once it gets shot the next time by those Sniper Scouts. And I think those Sniper Scouts should actually prioritize going for this Plasma Cannon Devastator. Again, could get 2 models. Probably would get 2 models. It shouldn't actually make sense for it to get more than that. Unfortunately for the blue team, Razbeg just does get them out of there to save them a bit. Looks like we had some models dying right here. Talrion he's never had too many squads. He does have a squad of Warp Spiders, now getting a D-Cannon. He's sitting on a lot of red. So is Sir Topi. They're the only 2 players who have enough to use nukes. This double Sniper Scout play is actually being really, really good. And not enough detection, and they're right now the red team players, and particularly Razbeg, has a very defensive build at the moment, and that's somewhat to be expected. Loses a scout squad. Generally, I would say the Techmarine is more of a defensive hero, and that does cater a bit more to his strengths. He's actually a little too good at defense, I'd say. Plasma Cannon Devastator knocking over the Chaos Terminators. We have some Tactical Marines with a Sergeant and nothing else, just straight up approaching right here. Meanwhile, these Chaos Terminators going for that Chaos Predator, but they keep on getting knocked down by this lone Plasma Cannon Devastator. And meanwhile, the attacks right here also getting hit by Plasma Cannon Devastators. Librarian is doing nothing, not even shooting range fire. Oh, and the Scouts actually managed to retreat just before getting knocked over. The Scouts, the Tax. Tax, meanwhile, level 4, did not lose a model, and they still have a Flamer. I think. No, those are the Tax with nothing. Oh man, double Bloodletters teleporting in. Are we going to see those Terminators in a lot of trouble again? We're going to see Bionics from the Techmarine, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I swear we're going to see Bionics. Instead, he decides to throw an Orb of the Omnissiah, and that's it for these Terminators. Either teleport must be on cooldown. Yeah. So unfortunately, oh, and there's the Bionics. I don't even know, what was he waiting for? Maybe it was just not on cooldown, or he didn't have the energy. Well, if he didn't have the energy, it was because he used the Orbs of the Omnissiah, which was a huge mistake. Only 100 VPs left for the blue team, but, you know, in many ways, I'd say things are looking very, very good for them. Plasma Cannon Devastator's in a bit of trouble right now. Gonna get hit by a Plasma Cannon Devastator. Now Chaos Space Marines in a huge amount of trouble and get wiped. Oh man, a Plasma Cannon shot right into a Predator tank shot. This Predator tank, the yellow one from Regant, I feel now possibly getting a little overextended. Might even it's taking some light damage from the Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines. Ooh, I was scared for that Plasma Cannon shot. I thought maybe it would hit. But this Predator right here, we have this Space Marine Predator. You know, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but the Predators, the Chaos Predator and the Space Marine Predator, they make very slightly different cannon sounds, both for the autocannon and for the las cannon. Definitely for the las cannon, and I think for the autocannon. I'm pretty sure, actually. Like, you need to listen really, really closely, and most of you probably don't care, but I care. Alright, Bloodletter's now in a lot of trouble. AcolyteofCROM, I think, not paying attention. Yeah, he does face them out of the work. Now needs to walk them back a bit. Even if he does walk them back a bit, he's in a lot. His Bloodletters are in a lot of trouble. That's really, really bad. That could be the end. Unfortunately, I don't know why this other squad of Howling Banshees did not go for that. A nice grenade shot. That was from the Doctor, saving his teammates' units. AcolyteofCROM, unfortunately, suffering again. Oh no, he's going to lose his Noise Marine. So AcolyteofCROM getting hit pretty hard now. He had recovered, and now he's gotten hit hard again, losing. Oh my god. Losing most of his stuff. Plasma Cannon shot goes in, knocking over the Plasma Cannon Devastators. Razbeg, oh my god, now with triple Plasma Cannon Devastators. It's going to be really, really bad. I think where are Sir Topi's Sniper Scouts? Yeah, if he's going to bring them up there, they need to be in the business of sniping those Devastators. And we have the double Bloodletters from Regant. They should also be in the business of going after Plasma Cannon Devastators. Are we serious? We got a Razorback Assault Transport? No, we've got a Whirlwind. Alright, we've got double Predator tanks this is from Razbeg, of course. He's got one with extra armor, choosing not to get the las cannons. I believe it's interesting because typically players keep the autocannons unless and until they have to deal with some kind of heavy vehicle. Librarian goes down from a claw swipe from the Doctor. The Doctor's Chaos Lord doing very, very well, although he is losing a ton of squads. Meanwhile, Chaos Lord goes down for Regant, who's gotten some lightning claws of his own. We've got a huge defensive line from the blue team holding on to these VPs. And I feel like this... Yeah, I mean, I can hear it now. The Chaos Predator's cannon has just a slightly different sound. Las cannon shot going in. Does it actually... I think it... Well, either it hit nothing or hit something. Of course, it hit nothing or it hit something. Unfortunately for Talrion, losing a bunch of stuff, came very, very close to losing one of his Howling Banshee squads, and actually came fairly close to losing the other as well. We need something to deal with this Great Unclean One from AcolyteofCROM. AcolyteofCROM has lost most of his stuff still. He's definitely going to want a new Heretic squad so we can support this Great Unclean One with some worship support. Meanwhile, we have a standoff right here. And I want to see those scouts. They are going for the Plasma Cannon Devastators. Nice play. Razbeg needs to get that out of there, or the next volley from those scouts will finish it off. Unfortunately, Sniper Scouts just get hit again. They may not have finished reloading their guns or waiting for the cooldown on it. Alright, Chaos Lord revived. It looks like blue team more or less controlling the top. Not more or less, they are. We've got all these Plasma Cannon Devastators. Where's Regant stuff? So I think they should make a combined push. I mean, the Bloodletters should just teleport into those Plasma Cannon Devastators. If they teleport both in on the same one, they will probably wipe it. And even if he decides to split them, teleport them onto different ones, he could possibly still wipe some of those Devastators. He needs to actually go for it. But I mean, he's probably just afraid that, well, for one, he might have trouble getting sight on where they are, and if they get hit before they can teleport, then that might actually be really bad for them, and they might not win that engagement that way. Ooh. AcolyteofCROM nearly losing his Bloodletter squad. He's got his Great Unclean One moving forward, helping to decap the blue team natural to even out the VPs, since the blue team has done a lot to even out the VPs. Both the Great Unclean One and this Predator from Regant are in a bit of trouble. Great Unclean One now clearly in the greater amount of trouble. This is really, really terrible for it. It has been hit by, what was that, Blessing of the Omnissiah or Orb of the Omnissiah? No, something else entirely. I did not even see what, but that's the end of this Great Unclean One. It was definitely a Haywire Grenade, actually, because the War Spiders are right there. So, Great Unclean One going down. Orbital, not Orbital. We have an Imperial Abyss. That's what it is. Meanwhile, the double Predators are moving away from the top, and that's going to be probably an end to Regant's Predator. Red team now looking pretty strong, I think, in my opinion. Are we going to have a Haywire Grenade go in on that Predator? But I don't think there's going to be enough to follow it up. Besides, we've got the Blessing of the Omnissiah. Now I'm correct on that one. That's the Blessing of the Omnissiah Global, repairing these Predators basically wherever they are, and regardless of what units are there to support them. Terminator's now out for Regant. He's just moving them forward. They need to be careful, and we've seen a lot of aggressive Terminator teleporting by people in this game. They just need to be really careful not to lose them that way, although Regant's been the one who's been taking out those Terminators. Meanwhile, I think we're going to see this Havoc get wiped once these Terminators force melee. Yeah, this is the Doctor, unfortunately, just not reacting fast enough. Probably has his attention elsewhere, so down goes his Las Cannon Havoc. And we're going to see some force melee from the Terminators. Oh man, if they had an autocannon right now, they could finish off this Predator with 94 hit points. Unfortunately, Regant, I don't know. Well, he doesn't have the power to buy the autocannon. He's got, look at the requisition that he's got. First of all, he should, oh, plasma cannon shot finishes off the Predator. Regant needs to use that requisition. He needs to throw down gens for his team. Another Imperial Abyss wiping a bunch of stuff. Regant needs to throw down a bunch of gens for his team, get them back some power income. Even though it's late in the game, he just has so much requisition that he should just throw down every single generator that he can. He should also get a new squad of Chaos Space Marines. At least a new squad of Chaos Space Marines, maybe a new squad of Heretics, maybe 2 new squads of Chaos Space Marines, but he should not sit on 1,500 requisition. I feel nor should AcolyteofCROM sit on as much resources as he's sitting on. Force Commander moving in right here, surprisingly only level 4 with this Power Fist. Now also has the Sacred Standard. Just no, he's not going to go down. So 1-to-1 cap, now double cap for the blue team. The red team basically hasn't been able to get a double cap back. And Bloodletters, ooh, not such a great play right here. They're teleporting in when they can be seen and they were getting shot at, so they took a lot of damage while in the middle of their teleport. Talrion moving through the middle, and good play by Doctor. The Doctor's definitely showing off a lot of good choices, a lot of good game sense. Right here, deciding that if you need something to capture a point, use a Chaos Lord with the Harness of Rage, and now he has switched to the Dark Halo, and he even used the Sweeping Doom ability, which works even when you're capping, and you won't stop capping. Now his Chaos Lord, however, is in a lot of trouble, and he's probably going to lose him. And the Howling Banshees actually just retreat out of there for some reason. So he actually gets a cap off in the red team's favor, like even in spite of all of these things being right here. So red team getting a cap back on their natural. I feel like I've been hearing a Sonic Blaster or a Blastmaster. I always confuse those two. But Assault Marines now in a bit of trouble. So are these Bloodletters. We've definitely seen some very good use of Bloodletters from Regant. Particularly good use of double Bloodletters. Not that people do that often, but the way he's used those double Bloodletters has been very good. Making full use of the Bloodletters' abilities, using phasing them out of the warp, and then particularly using the Bloodlust Global along with them. So double cap for the blue team again, and now the VPs are pretty much even, 104 to 113, now 111. At some point, you know what, it's definitely going to be in favor of the blue team pretty soon. Another Plasma Cannon shot goes in, locks over a bunch of Chaos Space Marine models. This Chaos Space Marine squad now in a lot of trouble, but at level 4. We've also probably got some leveled commanders, level 7 Techmarine. We've got a Chaos Predator in a very precarious situation. Yeah, that's not good, because there's a Haywire Grenade. It's going to get hit by the D-Cannon over here. It's not going to be able to get out of range of the D-Cannon, and the Banshees are going to chase. So that's probably going to be the end. It's definitely going to be the end of this Predator. Bloodletters teleport in to also deal with the... the Bloodletters teleporting in to help out. Oh my god, looks like we had a bunch of stuff dying. I feel like a Heretic squad just died. Yeah, AcolyteofCROM lost a Heretic squad. And now the Doctor's here with his level 8 Chaos Lord, just running a train on things. What other heroes do we have? We've got a level 5 Plague Champion with the Sword of Undeath, the Fetid Armor, and the Icon of Nurgle. We can see a little bit of that pulsing Nurgle aura if you look very, very closely. Except for the fact that now he's dead. Regant with a level 5 Cast Lord. Level 10 Warp Spider Exarch. Wow, what has he been doing? But now we see a Plague Champion newly revived going after Terminators a little bit. It's actually more of a fight than he can handle, and he goes down. Does he go down again? No. All right, AcolyteofCROM actually. Oh, what am I missing? Where is that orbital? Oh, it's right over here on top of some of Razbeg's stuff. I don't know that it actually took anything out. Maybe it took out a Plasma Cannon Devastator? Not even. All right, so blue team now. They've got the VPs at 104 to 39. The red team has not really been able to take it back for a while now. It's been pretty strongly in their favor. These tactical Marines need to get on the point, at least get the decap off while they have the time. Oh no, a huge missed opportunity from Razbeg. He had the tactical Marines right there. They were not being shot at. They definitely had at least had the time to get a decap off. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it with this Plasma Cannon Devastator about to unleash a shot on them, and does not manage to knock them off the point, and actually not even that good of a shot. Vanguard veterans hopefully they're going to jump before they get hit. They do get hit, but they don't lose that much health. Meanwhile, a new Great Unclean One from AcolyteofCROM. This is his second one, and we're going to have a Chaos Space Marine. Unfortunately, the Doctor losing a bunch of stuff. Bloodletters in Retreat Path going to take out... Oh, they're not going to... Well, they are... No, they're not going to take out the Chaos Space Marine because they're taking out Terminators again with the Bloodlust Global. How many Terminator squads have those Bloodletters taken out? Those are undoubtedly level 4 Bloodletters. And I mean, man, the damage they're doing now at level 4, it must be absolutely ridiculous. But Red Team somehow managed to take this top lane back. So they're still in business. We've got a Land Raider Phobos from Regant, and we have this Great Unclean One, I feel a little overextended, but wiping out Regant's Heretic Squad. Now this Great Unclean One is in a lot of trouble. We're going to see a Haywire. The Haywire, I believe, does prevent the Great Unclean One from attacking, which, well, yeah, it does. So this is going to be a dead squad. Yeah, there's going to be another dead Great Unclean One. So that's the second Great Unclean One. But its death may have bought some time for the red team, because I don't know. The blue team needs to get out there, capture a point, or at least get a decap off. Looks like they're going to decap the blue team's natural, or can they? No, because Sir Topi lost his scout squad in the process. Unfortunately, if he had no energy to infiltrate, maybe if he had put an infiltrated scout squad on the point, he would have been able to do it. There goes an orbital bombardment. They move forward. Very smart from the Doctor, moving those. He moves his Chaos Space Marines forward so that they do not get hit. They do not get into that orbital bombardment, and they actually don't retreat through the orbital bombardment. Don't get hit by it. Certainly a bunch of other stuff will, and the blue team actually does manage to even it out. But here we go again with the double Haywires into the double strength Banshees, and that's almost immediately a dead, oh man, a dead level 4 Predator. That's pretty sad. We've got another Predator right here. This one is the Doctor's. Unfortunately, this is only a level 1 Chaos Predator, and now Talrion finally losing a bunch of stuff, I think. Loses one squad of Warp Spiders, coming very, very close to losing more stuff, and definitely lost a ton of models. Meanwhile, Talrion, look at all the red he's sitting on. He could be doing Eldritch Storms. Meanwhile, they're going to be winning the game anyway, but, I mean, he could have done 2 Eldritch Storms in the course of this game, but I think the blue team going to take this game, actually. After the red team almost made a comeback, unless this game is still going, because we've got a Chaos Lord right here on the point. He gets knocked off by the Plasma Cannon and phase shifted by the Warp Spider Exarch, so that is it. And the Warp Spider Exarch even goes down in the process. Ooh, that was quite an incredible game. Hope you enjoyed the cast. Have a good night.